Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Midas Mode Developers blog. So good to have you guys. It's been a quick week, gentlemen. I gotta be real with you. Time really flies when you're not having fun, when you're working your booty off trying to make your own tournament happen. But again, I'll be playing some Mordhau here in the background, don't you worry. Focus really is on the blog. The point of this blog, of course, is to walk you guys through all the steps that I'm taking to run my own tournament Midas Mode in association with Moonduck TV, etc., etc. And today, whoops, we have a very special episode. Today we are talking about the path of sponsorship. A very difficult thing, an impossible thing many people have found. Sponsors are extremely hard to get in video games. And especially in Dota. And let's talk about why that challenge exists there. Well, for one, our biggest event of the year, our biggest deal, is the International. The International inherently doesn't have sponsorship. It's kind of like, what do you call it, the Masters. It just simply exists. There's no Coke Presents the Masters or anything else. It is simply the International. And that's, I believe, a conscious decision by Valve, where we should have these programs where sponsors are not inherently integrated. Other esports don't really do that. Counter-Strike majors, I believe, have title sponsors. League of Legends, of course, has their big boys that they sponsor as well, and in most of their tournaments, commercials are played, but not us. Dota 2 community, not really into that. And it's, in a way, that makes it really cool, because we put on the International. We start that bad boy up. That's all us. At the same time, the devs, the developers making those relationships with sponsors is actually extremely helpful for other parties, third parties, and even like first parties. People like PGL who are putting on like majors and stuff, you know, they have to go out and kind of find their own sponsors and do all that. So, is it a bad thing? No, not really. It's kind of cool because you get to go and find your own sponsors, but in a way it does have that kind of stigma where Dota players in particular aren't very keen on seeing ad rolls, you know? They're not, because that's how TI works. That's our golden standard. So let's talk about what it's like to work on your own tournament and get your own sponsors. So there's two real ways to go about this. And of course, we've talked about this circle before. The circle of a Dota 2 tournament are teams and sponsors. So teams will come in if you have enough money. It doesn't matter. I mean, teams are human beings in a way, but I kind of think of them more like corporations. They will do whatever you want for money. If I have $20,000 in the greatest tournament in the world, you can guarantee most of the good teams are not going to show up unless they're real sweetie pies. But if I have the worst tournament in the world, but I'm paying $1 million, you bet your ass they'll show up no matter what. The problem is, how do you get that money? Well, you know, you have to go and get those sponsors. But a sponsor doesn't want to sponsor a tournament until there are good teams attached to it. So there's your issue. How do you get teams to go to your tournament if you need a lot of money from sponsors, but sponsors won't give you money for your tournament without good teams? Well, that is a very hard issue, and it's one that, I don't know, you have to figure out on your own and make these good relationships. Now, one thing that you can do is develop relationships with these sponsors for multiple events. You see that come out a lot from esports. ESL, famous example. They'll sign something with Mercedes for God knows how much, probably a literal gigaton of cash. And they'll basically be like, every single event that we have for the next year, you guys have it. And that's a lot of value for a sponsor, because even if one event is bad, you can guarantee that one of the 14 events that they put on is going to be good. So, yeah, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good system right there. But if you're talking about a third-party person, you know, you don't know how many events you're going to run. It's pretty hard sell to do it for just one tournament. So that's your first big issue. Your second big issue is that Valve has literally made it so that it's impossible to make money without getting outside money from sponsorship. I mean, let's be real. Back in the day, a third-party tournament, you couldn't get sponsors. You could get teams maybe if you could promise them money, and how'd you promise them money? Well, we're going to sell a bunch of chests. We're going to get custom games. People will never be able to get this item set unless they go to our tournament and buy our chest. And that worked for a really long time. But then you have to ask yourself the question, you're Valve Software, you're giving these people a bunch of money by approving sets that are going into your game. Why would you allow that to happen? That could be your money. Why let the community make money when I could make money off the community? So, of course, that system inherently lasted a little bit until Valve decided, all the sets are mine now. I make all the money, which is, good for Valve, but not too great for tournament organizers. Now the literal only way that you make money is through investment and praying to God that the tournament sells tickets. Tickets probably one of the only ways to actually make any money back, because the majority of your money is going to be spent on the prize pool. It's going to, it's going to be spent on, housing, feeding players, and all that jazz. So, how are you supposed to make that money back? Well, the truth is you're not, from what I've seen in esports. You barely make enough to survive, and then you go forward. That system where we had chests and stuff were just straight up revenue for those tournament organizers, and that's the only way that they could survive, but apparently they're doing fine because people are still throwing tournaments. So to me, it's a mystery. I don't know how any of these esports homies are making too much money, but with running these things in giant stadiums. I know how I'm going to be okay. I'm going to just go ahead and not invite teams to my tournament. That's going to save me $250,000. But everyone else putting out these giant things in arenas, God knows, I don't know how they're making any money, but I don't want to know. I think it's a back alley shit. Maybe it's some GESC shit. Maybe they're the mafia. I don't know. I don't want to know. Get me out of there. So, anywho, that's kind of a short history and a sum up of where sponsors and money lies in the Dota 2 esports. We used to have pretty good ways to make money in tournaments with those chests, those in-game item purchases, in addition to selling tickets. Now it's basically pray to God you sell those tickets. And if you don't sell tickets and get decent viewership, yeah, it's 100% on the sponsors for you to try to have any money. So, let's talk about what it takes for us to try to get sponsorship on Midas mode and why I am kind of successful at it. So, you guys might have been surprised last Midas mode when we had like NASA, the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex sponsoring us. Well, those kind of things are called non-endemic sponsors, and those are where the real keys are for stuff like third-party tournaments. Pretty much, an endemic sponsor is somebody that you're used to seeing in an esports tournament, somebody that's probably done an esports tournament before. Monster Energy drinks, peripherals, SteelSeries. These are guys that, have dabbled in esports before. They're used to spending that money. Problem is, with endemic sponsors, is that they are used to spending that money. They are, and they have very limited amount of money. They are not looking to have some kind of giant thing for your tiny tournament because, of course, they can talk to ESL, sponsor, for 3 years and, give them millions of dollars. Nobody wants to shovel out 20 or 30K for your small-time tournament for a one-time thing. So those endemic sponsors are great, and sometimes they work out. But typically, they have to have those very long contracts. They have to know that they're going to get their money's worth. They know the space very well, and they have a very calculated plan from people that have been working on that plan for a very long time and making a pretty penny just designing those plans. So if you're like me, if you're a small-time boy trying to find something new, you've got to use your brain. And you've got to think, what can a sponsor who's probably never sponsored esports before, how could they get into this space and have it be good for them? Now that's another thing. And a little tangent here, but a lot of people think of sponsors and they think like, these are suckers. These are people that I want to take advantage to. Some people sell sponsorships like that. They sell sponsors looking like who just has a lot of money. For example, the Bitcoin guys about a year ago. Every tournament was trying to get one of these Bitcoin guys that had a venture capitalist to sponsor their tournament. Did they think that they were going to get a bunch of people to sign on to that Bitcoin? No. They just knew these Bitcoin guys had a lot of floating around venture capital money and they could take $200,000 from them and get no signups. Thanks for your resub. But then those sponsors go away. It's a terrible thing for everybody. It's bad for the sponsor. They obviously lose a bunch of money and get no returns. It's bad for the tournament organizer because they've spent a lot of time developing that relationship and now it's worthless because after their first event they're like, excuse me, we have nobody signed up for our Bitcoin. What the hell happened? It's bad for the audience, too, because if you don't care about your sponsors, then it's basically just an ad roll that comes on in between games. It's awful. Everybody loses in that situation. What I tried to do last time in Midas Mode, and what I think most people are finally starting to understand, is that proper integration with your sponsors to find sponsors that make sense to your audience and integrate them in interesting ways in your broadcast is better for everybody. It's a sponsor's worst nightmare that when their ad comes on, somebody shuts off the thing. And of course, in between Dota games, sorry, sir, in between Dota games, when we go from a panel and we go to an ad break, everybody kind of dozes out and they, lose interest in stuff. That's not what a sponsor wants. A sponsor wants to be integrated into a product well. So, when we're talking about these non-endemic sponsors and joining tournaments, the right way to do it is to find out which non-endemic sponsor is going to be able to benefit from sponsoring your tournament, and then finding creative ways to integrate that into your main product. For example, let's talk about Kennedy Space Center. So I knew that would be a good sponsorship because they have the same kind of demographic. Who are people that are interested in space? Well, it's probably pretty well-off guys in their early 20s to late 30s who, are kind of nerdy. Guess what? I just described the majority of the Dota 2 audience. Our game itself is not really geared to young audiences like games like Fortnite. MOBAs are inherently kind of grown-uppy kind of games. Most people in their late teens to early 40s are our endemic audience. And those people are probably interested in space and space shuttles and astronauts. Of course, we're nerds. So, of course, that's the kind of sponsorship and the non-endemic sponsor that would work really well. And it's someone that you should look out for. And that's why that worked very well, in my opinion. So, other stuff, like vape juice and shit like that, it's kind of the same thing. It's stuff that when I present it to an audience, I know that audience is going to ingest that product, they're going to like it, and then everyone's going to have a good time. So, that is kind of what I've been doing this year as well, trying to brainstorm some new non-endemic sponsors that have never done an esports tournament before and say, hey, I have your audience right here. They're hungry to do it. Let's think of creative ways to integrate you into the product. So what's an example? I'll give you some. For the last week, I've been sending emails to people that have Tinder for nerds. I mean, it makes sense. People are going to eventually do like a dating site for nerdos, like myself and like you. If they have Amish Tinder, then of course they're probably going to have nerd Tinder. So what do? I do something called cold calling. I basically send emails to people. I hunt them down on Twitter. I do anything I can to try to find people. And then I say, hey, talk to me, please. And then I try to get in touch with them. That is inherently the hardest part of sponsor sales. To have to go and cold call people. But that's just part of sales in general. If you don't know what that terminology means, cold calling is basically trying to stalk someone. You go on LinkedIn, you go on Twitter, you search them on Google, you find an interview that they did 3 years ago, and you say, hey, are you the VP of marketing? Will you talk to me for 5 minutes? 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get an email back. And let me tell you, that is, excuse me, sir, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get an email back, and let me tell you, that is ass-breaking. That is heartbreaking stuff. When you've been emailing people for 3 months straight, like last year, and nobody sends you back an email, you just think that you're going crazy. But it's through that legwork that sponsors actually do show up. So it's just part of the game. It sucks, but it's what you got to do. The trick is, though, to have a decent presentation. So how do you have a decent presentation? Well, you formulate something called a deck. We talked a little bit about this last time, but for layman's terms, guys that don't know anything about this, a deck is basically where it's a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation in a way, that you email people. So it's like, hey, here's everything that my tournament has and is going to have, and here are my ideas, and here are my prices. So I'm going to share my deck with you guys a little bit later in this blog post that we have currently, so you guys can kind of see what a nice deck looks like and something that's kind of successful. And we can talk about what makes that kind of stuff good. But before we get there, let's continue what we're talking about and go on to integration. So in my opinion, most people get sponsorships horribly wrong, as we talked about before. Even if you have a non-endemic sponsor or an endemic sponsor that has the right audience, that knows that they want to contact them, they don't do it right. All they do is play a goddamn commercial. And as I touched on before, nobody sticks around for that shit. Who cares if you play a commercial? It doesn't matter if you play a freaking commercial. Nobody gives a shit. People turn their TVs off, people turn their computers off, and it's boring. So the way to, how I've been approaching sponsorship with these Midas Mode and kind of with Moonduck events in general is try to find organic ways to, integrate that in the program. So, let's talk about vape breaks. That was one. The vape breaks from last year, basically every time that somebody paused the game, we would play an ad for bomb sauce juice. That is an integrated sponsorship because it's part of the program. When players pause, we play a funny video that's vape break themed that has all the logos on there, but it's to dubstep and ridiculous shit is going on. Integrations like that are good. They make the audience enjoy that advertisement. It's not just a commercial. You want to try to take the people enjoying your product out of the product as little as possible. I don't want to break the atmosphere of what I'm building. I don't want to break the lore of what I'm building, which is one of the reason why, in the international, they don't have sponsors. They don't want people to ever shut it off. They want people's attention on the product. So, that's kind of what we do, and that's how I approach all the sponsors. When I go over and I try to talk to somebody about becoming a sponsor, the first question you ask is, what are your deliverables? What do you guys want out of this product? Tell me what you want. Do you want people to visit your website? Do you want people to sign up for your service? Do you want just word of mouth? Do you want people to, tell their friends about the product? Do you want people to actually sign up on the product? Once you find out deliverables, you can start thinking about customization and making sure that whatever happens, you can ensure that that product is going to be delivered in a fun way. For an example, somebody has a news website. They want people to visit their website. Sure. Well, maybe I'll try to make something in my tournament, have my audience member go to your website to go and see something. Like last year's bounties. We were offering that perhaps if somebody wants to be able to go see the bounties, they got to go to somebody's webpage. Is that a big ask? Probably not, especially if you don't need to log in. You just need to visit it. But if that's what they want, they just want people to visit the site, we can make that happen. So anywho, all this talking about all this kind of stuff is good for everyone. And I'm going to reiterate that once again. An audience member that gets content rather than a commercial is much happier. Not only are, talent don't want to sell out either. They want to be able to do fun things. But if fun things include an advertisement, but it's just in an interesting way, everybody is happy. Your sponsor, Jesus, titty fucking Christ. Your sponsor is happy, you're happy, the audience is happy, everyone gets what they want. But that takes effort. And sometimes effort is hard, and people don't want to do that. They just want, thank you. I do so good. Effort's hard. It's a lot easier to just tell a person, hey, give me some money and I'll play an ad roll. But that's not good for anybody. That's not good for the show. And that's where a lot of esports people get that shit wrong. It's not TV. I'm sorry, but the internet audience is much more, how do I say this? The TV audience are idiots. They're used to literally staring at one thing, rotting their brain, just ingesting on whatever's on the TV. Internet viewers, esports viewers, are not like that. If they're bored, they can change a channel. They can do whatever they want. They can stop watching. They can open up a new tab. Esports watchers, video game players, we're active viewers. We want things to be interesting. And if they're not, we can easily change the channel. My dad will watch Fox News for 14 hours straight. He doesn't care what's on. He just doesn't want to change the channel. Us, not so much. So making content that's actually interesting is a necessity if you want it to be successful. And if you don't want to trick your sponsor into just giving you money for no reason. So that is what we are doing. Anyway, so, that is why this process is the big time taker. Last year on Midas Mode and this year, I spent a literal 3 to 4 months straight up cold calling people, straight up thinking of what sponsors could get into this space and how can I integrate them correctly. And if you want to do it right, it takes a shitload of time and it takes very little reward. But when you finally get a sponsor that you enjoy, that you think will like your product, that you think will have a good time with you, it makes all the difference in the world. As hopefully you guys noticed from last year's integrations with Kennedy Space Center and Bomb Sauce and all that other stuff. So, with all that out of the way, what are we looking for this year? Well, luckily for us, we have... God damn it, are you serious? We have acquired a title sponsor. So last time we hinted at this a little bit, but basically a title sponsorship makes your life super easy. One of the hardest things about this is that you have to treat everybody with respect. What the hell was that? That takes time to look at your deck, that takes time to think about things, meet with you. And the most important part of the conversation, how much do you think you have to spend on this tournament, definitely comes last. If you're going in there first and you're like, hey, how much money you want to give me? By the way, here's what I can do for you. Not typically going to work out well for you. Yeah, so you have to be a decent person. You have to give them time and, let them grow. Go and check out their website, find out what their deliverables are. And after a couple, maybe 4, 5, 8 hours, sometimes the question will have to come up. So, are you guys interested? How much do you have to spend on this? Guys, a lot of times, you talk to these guys, you give them the world, you give them all the time in the world, and they say, well, we got about $2,000 that we can do for you. That breaks a heart. That breaks a man's heart. That breaks a man's soul. But at the same time, they're playing a game, and so are you. So sales and sponsorships, it's a two-man game. So you can't give up on that kind of stuff. It gets super frustrating. You could be talking with a big-name sponsor. They're going to promise you stuff. They're going to pull out at the last second. And ruin your life. As I told you guys before, last year we had sponsor pulled out 12 hours before the tournament started. And basically I had to forego all the talent fees for the thank you. Another thank you. My teammate kills me. But, yeah, basically, so that money's got to come from somewhere in that kind of situation, so you take it out of your own talent fees. Shit like that's going to happen. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of trust, and it's a lot of dedication, but eventually it can work out if you're careful and you're smart about it. So, where were we? What should we talk about now? I guess, you're right, this year. So this year I learned a few things from last year's Midas mode. Number one is to not just, accept everything that goes your way and try to get that title sponsorship first. With that title sponsorship, you can say, oh, hello, thank you, Deliverables. You can say, okay, this guy believes in our program, and he put up this amount of money. And that way you have a good gauge of what you have on your program that you can say, okay, this is how much I can spend on other sponsors. Because everything is valuable in a sponsorship. For example, let's say 30 people want to give me, $5,000 or whatever. That's great for me, but is that good for the sponsor if I secretly sell 30 different sponsorships? Not at all. They get no screen time. It's not fair for them. They don't feel like their product is actually out there. So if you're running a big-time tournament, you don't see ESL have like 100 ads, but you will see them have like 4 or 5. And those will be their big sponsors, but those guys have to pay enough money. You can't dilute the system. And doing something like getting a title sponsorship, which means that they have paid a large sum of money, it's basically their tournament. It's called title because you say blankety blank presents Midas Mode 2. Then you can gauge how much your tournament is worth, and it's easier to sell. And then it's an easy way to get out of those situations where someone's like, hey, I have $2,000. And they say, wow, I really appreciate your time. That sounds really great. But unfortunately, these guys paid, $100,000. And I can't put you at the same airtime as those guys, can I? And then it's like, makes those conversations a lot easier. So that's kind of what we did. And this year we were very lucky to have a great relationship with one of our sponsors. We were building towards it for months. We got everything checked out. And now we have our title sponsor, which will allow us to get more sponsors easier and in the right range that we're looking for. So, yes. What else can I talk to you guys about before we go into the deck? Generally, those are most of the points. You want to take your sponsors. You want to find the right ones for your product. You want the people to enjoy your product and enjoy the sponsor, not feel like, oh my God, this is such an evil thing. Why am I watching this? Why are they advertising this? You want to try to find ways to integrate those sponsors in fun and interesting ways so your audience doesn't just turn it off and they hate it. And you want to do your damnedest to respect those people because they're putting in hard-ass cash. This ain't well wishes and thoughts and prayers. This is them spending their capital, hoping to God that they get a return on it, as much as you're hoping to God that the teams show up to the tournament. Everybody's in here in a relationship of trust and trying to make sure that all these different things can come together and be success for everybody. And if you don't view it like that, then you're doing it wrong. And there's plenty of people out there in esports that don't view it like that. They view it as, oh, I hope I can get this guy's money. That ain't the right way to do it, because that shows. Thank you.
Less than 3, very educational.
Oh, thank you, Metal Monta.
Less than 3.
I will go ahead and change your thing right here. Oh, God. Not editing this video, so... Alright, so, since I'm dead and I've already stopped out, my team will certainly die here. And I'll go ahead and show you guys my deck. And you can get kind of an idea of what things are. Okay, so, what makes a good deck? Let's take a look at the deck I made last year. And we'll walk you guys through it. And you can see if this would be successful for you. So, whip, whip. There's last year's Midas Mode deck. Obviously, it looks nice. Our boy Buka and Hoff are designers and hire out some artists to make you some nice stuff, make you a nice background. So you go through. Now, first thing that someone looks at your deck, they care about numbers. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about what you do. This is all bullshit. Nobody's going to read this. No offense. But you see a big block of text, they don't care. They care about this. Boom, numbers. Numbers are good. Try to put as many numbers as you can. If this is your first time running a tournament, then just put numbers of something that don't even really matter. For example, this is Midas Mode 1. We never did a Midas Mode. So what do? Moonduck's numbers. We're Moonduck. There's our numbers. Hope it's good. Then you go on to social stats. You do whatever you can. Put numbers. This is what people want when they're selling shit. They don't care about your dreams. They care about numbers. 18,000, 28,000, 79,000. Up, up, up. Look at those arrows going up. That's some growth since last tournament, baby. Up, up, up. Other stuff. People that you think are going to go. Did Cinderin say that he would go to Midas Mode? No. However, he's part of the company, so we're putting him on. You try to put out your best foot forward, of course. You don't directly lie to people. You don't say that, hey, I got these guys coming and they're not coming. But at the same time, you put your best case scenario in your deck. This is expected. I never lie to people because if you lie to people, you're going to get caught. What the hell do you do? Nothing. They could take all their money and run away. But look at this right here. 400,000 Twitter followers, 7,000 Facebook fans. Big numbers, boy. Well, guess what? Literally, Purge and Cinderin are the only people making up those numbers, basically. But, ooh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Then you have your informational page. What is Midas Mode 2? Boom shakalaka. You go through. You explain it as much as you can. Even this is too much text. No one's going to read this shit, but they know, what is Midas Mode? Oh, that's interesting. Cool. Then you go for this stuff. Now, I'm going to be real with you. Okay? Stuff like Reddit, stuff like Twitter, this stuff matters. Most people don't understand that this stuff is make or break for a tournament. If you can get a front page Reddit thread about your event, it means that your average people like this event. It's not just people making shit up. All right? It's actually people that enjoy your product. So, a lot of decks you'll see people say, hey, look how many upvotes we got. Look at these nice comments. Isn't that nice? That's a big deal for people, especially for a non-endemic sponsor. Imagine that you're owning a mom and pop store. Some kid comes up and he says, hey, I can get you 1 million viewers on your product. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Showing hard evidence like this, extremely helpful for that kind of stuff. Of course, tournament format, that was last year. I won't tell you the format this time. Teams, this time last year, we had the luxury of having all these teams really propose to go in there, and they signed in. They said, bro, we're not going to let you down. We're going to play in this tournament. We love you. And then, of course, half those teams try to drop out 2 weeks before the tournament. But if they say yes to you, you put them on the deck. You say, these are our boys. This year's Midas Mode, unfortunately, we are talking these teams. They have all given me verbal, hey, we're really interested. But we have to see what happens after TI. A lot of them have said they're already coming. They could screw me at any moment. I am terrified. But I am also a psychopath. And they know this. I'm a very threatening, frightening person. Even the Chinese teams know not to fuck with funny pussy. And I apologize if you're watching this video and you're an adult, but I was told by ROTK that that is my name in China. It used to be. First I was Snorlax, then I was Funny Pussy, and now, unfortunately, I am Fat Crystal Maiden, is what they call me in China. But even the Chinese know you don't fuck with Fat Crystal Maiden, all right? So I very much hope that all of our teams make do on their promises. Yes. Anyway, production last year, we had some plans to hold it at a different place. That actually fell through. We were very late in the talking with these guys about holding this production at that place, but that actually fell through about 3 weeks before. So didn't have time to change the deck. We had most of our sponsors by that time, so that's still here. Sponsorship stuff, we're going to go over that real quick. Those were our, our big dreams of what we were looking to do. I don't want to show you guys the exact numbers of last year's Midas Mode, because, we didn't make any of those numbers, and it was quite embarrassing. But this year we will make those numbers. So, yeah. Anyway, let me blot this out here, and I'll see what else we got going on here. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, we got a lot of numbers here that I don't want to show you guys. But, yeah. So basically, the rest of the deck are the specific numbers of what I wanted to sell to each sponsor, what those tiers would look like, and how that would kind of work out for us. So, yeah, I mean, the only reason I don't want to particularly show that to you guys is because, I don't know, it's kind of like, then I don't think that's fair to the people that sponsored last year, because then I'm showing off how much they gave, and you guys, it seems like it'd get really weird. So let's go ahead and skip over that. But of course, it pays to be able to show in your deck and say, hey, this is how much we need for these different tiers. Oh, thank you.
Sticky Needles.
Sticky Needles. Trying to find a background image for you guys somewhere that I can put up while we're talking for the rest of the time. What's an interesting image? Well, I can't find one. Yeah, I'm also not editing this part, so I hope you're having a good time, because it's not going anywhere. Okay, I'll just keep it on the new deck picture. No, it's too risky. What if I leak something? But anyway. Hold on with it. 1, 2. I got a nice picture for you guys all in one second. Yeah, this is nice. That's Mr. Roo sleeping, by the way. Hope that's okay. All right, so let's talk about this year. I don't particularly... Unfortunately, we were really waiting for our contract to get finished with our title sponsor this year so I could talk to you guys about it. It has not been completed yet. I have not signed the contract. I really wanted to get that done before this episode so I could give you a real big backstory on this title sponsor. But I personally don't think it's going to be a big deal if I say their name. But, big companies like that, they have legal teams. They could be upset. So I'm going to hold off on that. But I will talk about one thing with that sponsorship is that it is, and not afraid to talk about this, it is a betting sponsor. I know what you're saying. Betting sponsor? Oh, God, no. What have you done? It's G2A.com. Not so much. In the real world, people that actually have enough money to sponsor tournaments, they have to be able to provide a service. Betting sponsors are one of those guys. They have a decent amount of money, and I always said to myself I wasn't going to try to get a betting sponsor because if it ain't good enough for Valve, it ain't good enough for me. But at the same time, I don't know. I did my research. I tried to find somebody that wasn't a scam artist. I tried to find a company that actually seemed legit. And let me tell you, not a lot of betting sites are legit at all. In fact, most of them, I believe, are horrible scams. But at the same time, I don't know. I go to Vegas. I do things. I don't bet on esports because I'll get fired and sued. But if somebody adult wants to take time, spend some money, and it's a completely normal thing, and they're already involved in esports in a lot of ways, they're completely legit, and it's an adult thing, and we're not pushing to small children, I'm cool with it. So, that is our title sponsor, is a betting sponsor that was able to put up enough money, and we are hoping to integrate them as much as possible without doing anything negative. And that is a huge part of my, my thing. So, anyway, that is our title sponsor. Hopefully, as soon as they sign that contract, I'll let you guys know who it is, and we can talk more about how that process went and why I decided to work with them. But that's a big part of me on this tournament, and that's kind of what makes this tournament special, is because I really do feel like this is an extension of myself. Like, I own this tournament in a way, and when I do this tournament, it's me saying, hey, I support this, and I want this to happen. So I'm extremely picky in who I work with, because I'm not going to call up G2A.com and say, hey, guys, give us some money. No, I don't agree with their business practices. I don't like what they do. I don't want to be associated with them anyway. And if you're running a normal tournament, a faceless tournament, then, you can do whatever you want. But if I'm running my tournament, then I need to have people that I know are not terrible people. So, anyway, let's talk more about general sponsorship stuff and in the future what we're looking for with our integrations. So right now I am currently in the sponsorship rotations. I have every single day I wake up, I write emails, I respond to emails, I improve on the deck, I brainstorm how to do commercials, I brainstorm everything to try to find ways to, go out there and find some people that share the similar interests of me. It is extremely time consuming. It is 12 hours a day, every day, contacting random people. Because seriously, anything you can think of. Non-endemic sponsors are going to be the best people that you can get into your game because it drums up the most excitement and you have the most opportunity to make your sponsors that have never sponsored esports before, getting them a new audience is so good for them. Your audience isn't bored with that sponsor. They haven't seen it a million times and everybody wins. But to find non-endemic sponsors is so hard. You have to contact so many people, and half of them never contact you again. I would say 80 to 90% ignore that email because it's impossible to talk to the right people. So it's a lot of work, but when it pays off, it really, really does work out really good. So anyway, let's see. What else do I have to talk to you guys about? If you see a sponsor on Midas Mode 2, it is definitely not because they offered me a lot of money. It's because they have kind of share the same things that I want to do, and they're cool guys that I want to work with. That's a little rare in the esports scene. If you have money, you take that money. If G2A gives you money, you take it. But again, this is kind of an extension of me, so we're not going to run that way. Let's say I actually, to be a little bit with you guys, I do not have more than one sponsor at the moment. We're in a lot of different talks. I have meetings every day, but we only have that first sponsor locked on. But that's okay, because this kind of stuff takes a lot of time. We're in the process of getting several more sponsors. And I'm on meeting 2 and 3 with people, but we don't have one yet. And trust me, we'll make it, though. September's a long time. So don't laugh. Don't laugh at me. Epic Games? Oh, baby, you guys have no idea. Last year, I was one email away from every day at the end of Midas Mode, we were going to play an online MOBA as a group. I thought that was genius. Games that are in direct competition with Dota 2, pay me, and we'll all play your game. I know that's your audience. If Epic Games comes up to me today and says they'll give me $1 million to host Midas Mode, you bet your ass I'd be about that shit. Do I love Epic Games? No. Not at all. In fact, I kind of want to ruin them, which is why I would let them sponsor Midas Mode, because nobody would watch it, and then they'd be missing $1 million. It'd be fucking amazing. Anyway, so, yeah. Woo! It is a drain, though. It's a pretty big drain on not just,
Thanks for doing this.
Oh, thank you for watching. It's not just a drain on, me personally in my personal life, but it's just kind of a... What about a Discord sponsor? Don't get me started on that shit. Whew! I'm going to keep that shit private. Let me just say that there were attempts last year, and those attempts did not go well, and I won't get into details, but I'm still pissed off about it. Anyway, so... Yeah, Genoa, of course. Sometimes when you're successful about stuff like this, people will approach you. And those are usually, it's just such a sync. It's just such a slam dunk. Because they understand the product. You know that they're interested. You can find common ground super quick. And everything is so much easier. So guys that actually do approach you and say, hey, I really love your product. Love the sponsor. Let's figure it out. For example, Vape Juice last year, I did not go to them. Vape Juice came to me and they said, hey, we like your product. We don't really have that much to spend, though. And I was like, guys, let's figure something out. What we did with the vape breaks, it was a really shaky agreement. I was like, guys, I'm going to make these commercials, and every time they pause, I'm going to play those commercials. And they're like, bro, what if they never pause? And I'm like, well, that's the risk, ain't it? Because you're only giving me like a very small amount of money. These ads could never play. They could play 10 times a game. I have no idea. You want to roll the dice? And they're like, shit, let's do it. That's the kind of stuff that's like, this trust. It was pretty funny. But yeah, of course, being, fluid and working with people, that's how it actually works. So, anyway, what were we talking about? So yeah, in short, if you actually want to get sponsors, if you actually want things to be successful for you, then you need to show them that you care about their product and that you actually give a shit. And I don't care about products that I don't like, that I think are immoral, that I don't want to advertise for, so I don't have them in the tournament. Because having that passion and making them want to succeed with you is what makes good stuff. So everybody that you see in Midas Mode from last year and this year are people that I genuinely like their products. I want them to succeed. If I ever sell out and Epic Games buys Midas Mode, I'll let you guys know, and I'll be rich, so it'll be great. Don't get me wrong. If somebody wants to make me a millionaire and ruin my own tournament, I'll do that. Love you guys, but I'm in. Anyway, so tips for approaching non-endemic sponsors. This is the hardest part. Oh, right, before we get into that, the drain. If you want to do a tournament, this is the part that's going to take you the longest time. Expect nothing else in your life to happen. Running this tournament makes me put on a lot of different hats. I have to be a organizer for the tournament. I have to contact teams. I have to be a talent manager. I have to be a salesman. I have to be a designer. I have to be a producer. So it takes a lot of different parts. The sales part is brutal. As I said, you keep going until you get that money. So you might have noticed I hardly stream. It takes me a really long time to get out videos on my YouTube. I've turned down the last 3 events of the year. It's because I need to wake up and work 12 hours a day trying to find sponsors for this bad boy. It is a time-consuming nightmare. Get that paper! But I really, there's a lot of reasons why I do Midas Mode. It's not just because I want to run this tournament for fun. Stuff like having a LAN in North America, stuff like supporting the third-party scene, stuff like creating innovations for the game, and showing people what a good tournament could be like, involving the audience as much as possible, having interconnectivity with your sponsors and showcasing them in positive ways, and just trying to kind of have my vision for what tournaments should look like in Dota. So it's a passion project, of course, I'm going to be passionate about it and lose a shitload of money in time, but what can you do? All right, anyway, let's see. Hey, all right, Admiral Butters, my boy. All right, let's see. Is there anything else to talk about? I think I've pretty much covered it. The world of sponsorship is very scary. It's very time-consuming, but it's a necessary evil. You can make a pro team do literally whatever the hell you want if you get enough money. So if you want to run a ridiculous tournament like Midas Mode, where they are scared to do different kind of tournament, I won't say one team in particular, but one team, I've approached them every time, and they say, we don't play these stupid-ass alternate game modes. But I guarantee you, if I got $2 million, they'd play that goddamn game mode, all right? Anyway. Sponsorship sales make the world go round. Money makes the world go round. So if you care at all about esports, if you want it to grow, don't just ignore those stupid sponsors. Don't just ignore the ad rolls and flame when people have to sell out. Because guess what? These tournaments in Dota 2 literally wouldn't run without these sponsorships. And there's people like the Overwatch League that would run without sponsorships because to buy in, you have to pay $20 million. In Dota 2, the way that it's set up, because of how TI is set up, Dota audiences are inherently kind of against sponsorship. And it takes a lot of work to make these tournaments happen. And fucking players will complain about sponsors taking up too much time and the ad rolls and the interviews and all that shit. Well, guess what? You would have literally no money if it wasn't for these people, except for TI, which makes Dota the best esport in the world. But you would not have money if it wasn't for these dicks. So pay a little respect, both as audience members, as pro players, and as talent. Anytime any sponsor asks me to do shit, I'm on board. Because they love our game too. And if they didn't, they'd be sponsoring League. Disgusting. Anyway, so yes, I think that is just about everything that I wanted to cover. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. If you are thinking about, I want to run a third-party tournament, price out exactly what you think you're going to get a little bit more than you think you're going to need, because guaranteed someone's going to screw you and drop out. And don't throw a tournament for Dota, because you'll be spending literally all of your money on the prize pool. And throw an Underlords tournament, if I can make any suggestion. But Dota is unfortunately the game I love. She's an abuser, so it is the tournament that I will be throwing. So next week, what are we going to talk about? Not quite sure. I'll try to decide. I really want to give you guys a tour of our venue and kind of explain how that's going to look, and the process of securing a venue, building a stage, and all that jazz. We'll see if they're ready to go by then, though. But, of course, as always, I am going to open it up for the last 10 to 15 minutes on a AMA from the Twitch chat. If you guys have any questions or want me to delve specifically into sponsorship and what that process is like anymore, love to answer any questions. But let me know. He's streaming this to get Twitch sponsors. Well, technically, I've already got a few donations, so that is true. Why are you so ugly? That's a pretty good question, and I will answer that. There's a thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it finds that people need certain things to survive and do their lives, right? Shelter, food, that kind of stuff. You go up the ladder, and those are at the bottom of the triangle. Shelter, food, love, affection, safety, bigger things. At the tippity top of the triangle, there's something called self-actualization. And it's basically saying that I have everything I need, I'm happy with myself, I'm happy with my world, and I've done it. And you know what? Life is good. This is who I am, this is who I want to be. So, I believe that I am at the point of self-actualization, where I love who I am. And I think that I'm living a pretty good life and I'm doing what I love. A side effect of self-actualization is that people no longer give a shit about themselves. If you look at a lot of super famous people, Einstein, stuff like that, people that really, they feel good, they don't really give a shit what they look like. So that is why I am so ugly. I don't want to get a toupee. I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to work out. I like where I'm at. That's me. I like being ugly. Who fucking cares? So that's me. That is why I am so ugly, in my opinion. Or jeans. Anyway, how much in the ballpark would it cost, to have the lower bracket final match be ability draft? Probably too much. One thing about Midas Mode in all these tournaments is that you can't push the envelope too much. Teams still need to be able to play it. They still need to feel like it's a fair game. And nobody wants to play in a tournament that is a crapshoot who wins. So you need to pay an ungodly amount for something like that. What's the opposite of self-actualization? Fear and panic and sadness. How do you plan to make sure the playing field is level for all teams if they're playing remotely? Well, we'll get into that later. I ain't going to reveal that secret here, but that is a great question. Get Polo to sponsor for shirts. Oh my God, I wish. Do you know how long last year I spent DMing the Twitter for Pizza Roll? His name is Pete Zaroll. He never responded to me. Every day I would message Pete Zaroll and tell him, Pete, we will eat so many goddamn bags of pizza rolls. Please sponsor us. And he didn't. And you know what? We never ate a pizza roll on air, but we ate fucking pounds of them off air, baby. Why doesn't Valve provide any sponsoring for events like these? Because they're smart. Let's get into that. A lot of other tournament organizers, Riot, in particular Blizzard, into the Blizzard Contenders League, they're very much like third-party tournaments. Blizzard goes into Blizzard Contenders League or whatever, and they say, hey guys, you can run this tournament, but we're going to oversee it. Sounds really good. They provide you sponsorship, they provide you money. But here's the thing. Those people that, to give you that money, they go in there and they control your tournament completely. You try to make a new overlay, and Blizzard says, oh, Tracer would never sit like that. You try to have a video, they go, oh, well, this is just poor quality. This isn't up to our standard. And there's very little room for innovation because you're taking everybody that makes their own tournaments and then you're putting them in third-party tournaments and having them run them, and you start to get clones of each other and it all bleeds together. Valve is extremely intelligent in how they do their tournament system because it is a capitalist society. They don't give you shit. And you want to know what tournaments get the most views? The people that make the best tournaments. People that innovate. People that make new things. Star Ladder, a minor, great tournament. They had that overlay. It was super sick. That overlay brought people in to watch that tournament. Do you think if Valve paid for that tournament and everything in it, they would want to innovate like that? Not at all. It's what makes the Dota 2 esports scene so good. At the same time, could Valve do a lot more to support third-party tournaments? Absolutely. They have unlimited money. You could take some money from TI, throw it people's way. It's a double-edged sword, though, because TI having a lot of money is, unfortunately, the only thing that makes us better than the league. So, yes, it's a genius system in a way, but it has its faults. Will the pup be there? Yes, Mr. Rue will attend. If I give you $10, can you make one of the players say Bronze Gang? Probably I could do that for free. Any particular heartbreaking moments? Oh my god. Yes. There's so many. There's so many good sponsors that never talk back. And you know you have exactly what they want. There's so many sponsors that tell you they have so much money for you and they'll help you out, and you go into 2-hour meetings, you've been meeting with them for 4 months, and they say, hey, we could just send you product. You want some product? I don't want product. I can't pay my players in product. Please help me. There's a lot of those. What will a ticket for the tournament cost? Not going to say yet. We're getting there. It'll be on the ticket announcement. So Midas modes have more lore than Dota Underlords. I don't know the Underlords lore. I don't think I want to know. God. So this is a long one. Pick a hero, 3 skills, ability, draft style, but your ultimate must be dual. Oh, that is a purge question. I ain't got time for that shit. What are the titles of the people you reach out for? That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. It's super difficult. My best experience is to go to LinkedIn. You find out who the VP of marketing is, or somebody in marketing. You research their name. You go to Twitter and you send them random messages, or you try to literally guess their email. I'm telling you guys, it ain't easy. Companies pay other companies, advertising agencies, more than I'll ever make in my lifetime just to get these contacts. And the worst thing about sponsorship is when you find one of those contacts, one of those golden nuggets, oh my God, I have finally found the VP of marketing for Red Bull or SteelSeries. They're not going to share that shit with anybody. Why would they? Of course, it makes a lot of sense to share stuff with people because then you build other relationships, but most salespeople are greedy and frightened. And they finally find someone that will give them a sale, and they'll hide that contact like their life depended on it. If you're a salesperson, don't do that. Spread it out a little bit. You're not going to lose work if they like you and they're sponsoring you. And if somebody one-ups you, what's going to happen? You're going to lose that contact? It doesn't matter because the sponsor is happy that you gave them a successful contact, and they'll want to work with you more. Don't be like this, boys. I've contacted Madrinas. I don't know what the hell that is, but I will look forward into it. Hopefully it will be better than my nerd Tinder emails that I've been doing all day. Mr. Rue will be there. No, Midas Mode is not happening on Pornhub. Sometimes to get sponsors, you got to do stupid shit, like tweet at Pornhub and say, hey, you guys want to sponsor my tournament? I've personally tweeted at Elon Musk about 15 times. He's never responded. Purchase editor. Remember that game show 4 months ago? How on earth do you decide pricing? Ooh, that was a long time ago. I'll have to remind myself on that one. But it's great to see you there, Sander. I know your name. I have no idea what's going on. Hi, YouTube. You got me. One match of Dota before you go? Maybe. Crying faces. How was your day? Okay. Pepto-Bismol. That's Suns fans' biggest. He would kill a man to get Pepto sponsor. Great question. What are the most detrimental mistakes you've made seeking sponsors? There's a lot of them. Never bringing up pricing. Oh my God, that's a big one. Being scared of sponsors. Don't be scared of sponsors, guys. We had a sponsor for Midas Mode 1. I talked to him every day, and we had this ingenious idea. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to put this person under the bus, but their product was perfect. Their CEO said that he wanted to fly out. They said that they wanted to go and do all this shit with us and be our friends, and I was too scared to ask that big question. Do you guys actually have capital to invest in this? So the day comes, like, I think this was a week before Midas Mode. Day comes, and I'm like, so, Anyway, let's get down to brass tacks. How much do you guys think you could do? This guy started at 50K. He went down to 30K. He went down to 20K. He went down to $5,000. And then he said, I can give you guys $5,000 if you give me 8 months for my next investor round. And I literally say to the guy on the phone, bro, if you don't have $5,000 in 8 months, you probably shouldn't be sponsoring people. What are you doing? I don't even want your money if it's going to take you 8 months to make 5K. Sweet Jesus. Yes, that's a big mistake. Don't be afraid of the sponsor person. Get that shit out in the open. Don't waste each other's time. Oh, that one hurt. Papa John's sponsor when I don't know. Mustache, I told him not to shave. I can pitch $5. Yeah, keep it. A coffee company. Oh, interesting. Caffeine, huh? Have you ever had to do something uncomfortable looking for a sponsor? I've had to turn people down before. And that's a really weird conversation. When like a Bitcoin comes on and they're like, "Hey, we got this cool Bitcoin. Kids are gonna love it. It's looking out for teens. We want teens to sign on with Bitcoin. We're not looking for 20-year-olds. We want people to take their parents' money and buy our Bitcoin." What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, those are extremely uncomfortable because these are powerful dudes. These are millionaires, billionaires sometimes that you're talking to on the phone. And they're like, hey, you want to ruin these people's lives with me? Not really. So, yeah, those are super uncomfortable. But you typically just say, oh, we'll get back to you. And then you never email them again. Scary stuff. Displate. Never heard of that before. That sounds good. I'll look it up. Have you contacted Heineken? No, I don't drink beer, surprisingly. I'm in Canada. It's possible for me to be a LAN. Digital Pass. Yes, it's called Twitch TV. You might enjoy it. That's right. At the end, that sponsor did just buy us pizzas, that 5K guy. That was very sad. How do you get into the Dota 2 scene? What are some educational choices you can get into esports? Every single person that I've seen be successful in esports has not originally been in esports. Esports is a growing field, and people try to trick you and say, you should take esports classes. You should study esports. F all that. That's all garbage. People that are successful in esports take other things that they're interested in and integrate them into esports. It's a growing field. It's kind of this big blob. It's not like traditional sports where you can, study to be a sports broadcaster. Take another job that you're super interested in, that you're passionate about, and say, how can I integrate this into esports in a functional and good way? And let me tell you, that's a lot more interesting to somebody trying to hire someone for esports than I've played Fortnite for 80 hours, and I love video games. Get some real-world skills and bring them into esports. Not only will you make yourself better, you'll make all of us better. Canned coffee company. Yes, thank you. 50K to pizzas. What about Haagen-Dazs? Oh, the Haagen. Dude, I would literally die on camera. If we had unlimited Haagen, that would be the advertising. I would be the first person to eat themselves to death on Haagen. Let's see. Midas Mode Fresh Books Synergy. Look that up. I'll take it. I like research. Let's see. Did you ever get in contact with scary guys while trying to do things like the mob? Maybe. I don't know. There's some real questionable tournaments happening around the world of esports. What I like to call the funny monies. So I've been invited to some tournaments where I'm like, so where are you guys getting all this money from? And they're like, investors. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to skip out on this one. So it has happened before. Lucky Palmer? VR Oracle guy. Lucky Palmer. Okay, I'll check it out. Whatever. I love research. What about Domino's? See, how the hell do I get in contact with Domino's? How exactly do I call up Domino's and say, hi, I'm Sir Action Slacks. You like video games? Shit like that's literally impossible. That's like saying, why don't you call up Apple and be like, yo, Steve, ghost of Steve Jobs. No, that's not possible. It's literally, if you could let me know how to talk to the VP of Domino's, don't let me know. Make $1 million selling that contact to somebody else. Being in Colorado, have you thought about some weed money? Surprisingly, yes. I have thought about what it would be like to do weed sponsorship. I'm not comfortable with that. Vape is close already to something bad, but I don't know. I don't. If you want to smoke weed, go ahead. But I don't really want to advertise it because, again, there are children, there are teens, impressionable youth that might be watching, and to me, that's far. I know weed's not a bad thing. If I literally could, I would replace weed and alcohol. I would make alcohol illegal and make weed completely legal. It's much better. It will not ruin your life like alcoholism will. But I ain't gonna go out there and support it. So, sorry, boys. Hey, if you want to smoke weed, though, more power to you. Okay? Less lines at the goddamn roller coaster for me. New legalization of weed. Yeah. Does your location influence your success? Not really. Not in this. I mean, if I'm looking for like local sponsorship, like a mom and pop store, of course, that's gonna make a big deal. But esports very interconnected on the internet, so most people, don't care. One big thing though is having a physical location means that we can sell actual things at the tournament. Stuff that sell like periphery sponsors, like your Steel Series, your Cougar. They like to move product, and having product on site moves a lot more product than having product online. So I would say that is important, is local sponsors that you can work with to move product. Favorite color? Black, like my soul. Do you think you could ever sponsor a tournament with a minor? Maybe. Hopefully not Midas mode. Midas mode should never be in the DPC. How about shaving and hygiene products? Sweaty neck beards. That is a good idea. Make a note of that. Thank you. Lucky Palmer had a political scandal. Off the list. Grammarly? Grammarly? Yeah, that might work. I'll do it. I'll try it. Check out Bad Dragon. Bad Dragon. Okay, I'll check it out. Hey, yeah, I didn't think this would be a help session. This feels like therapy. Thank you. Didn't DP Alicious get MasterCard despite tonsil? Did she? I don't know. Weird. South Park in Colorado. No internet out there. Do you smoke weed? No, I know smoke weed. My brain's fucked up enough. I don't need to put anything else in there. Dedicate everything to me. Change the name to Betterson mode. You know what? Give me enough and I'll do it. Should I visit Colorado? Yeah, I actually love Colorado a lot. I like it here a lot. Try some kind of donations into a raffle. Deckhound, thank you. Milk sponsor? Milk, guys. Have you ever heard of Milk? Is Nahaz going to do the stats? Discussions. Will the live event be the entire 21st and the 29th? Yeet. It will be. It will be. Tickets soon. Soon! Hopefully by next week. Ticket announcement very soon. Dildos, oh boys. Lucky spoke this year at a big-time Air Force that have my husband. Oh, legit. Okay. All right. Elon Musk. I've done it so many times. All right, guys. Well, looks like that's it. Any other questions? I think we've been going for more than 10 minutes. You should get a small local business for a super small amount. But you see, that's the issue. If somebody gives me a really big amount and they're sharing somebody's space with someone who did a very small amount, isn't that bad? Isn't that bad? If you really want Oculus VR sponsorship, John Carmack. What the fuck? Hey, John Carmack. Get an ice cream sponsor. Yeah, I'll take any sponsor. All right, great. Well, there you go. That is our blog post on sponsorship. If you guys have any additional questions, I'll be making this into a YouTube video, which the majority of you that are watching right now will probably be hearing. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them in the YouTube comments. Hope you guys learned a little bit. Of course, these blog posts are not only to give you updates on what my life is like making my own tournament, but also maybe to incentivize you guys to make your own tournaments and grow the Dota scene. One day, children, the Dota scene will be in trouble. Valve will have a grand new game. It ain't Underlords or Artifact, but they will. And they'll be moving their people away from Dota, their biggest cash cow. And it'll be up to us to make sure that our game survives through things like Midas Mode, through things like these third-party tournaments. So get hyped, get motivated, and get ready for the future, baby, because that day is coming. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you next week on our next episode of the Midas Mode Developer Blog. Have a good one. Toodaloo.